Another out-of-touch rich dude wants to try and save you. The Guardian says, Bloomberg eyes 2020 presidential run as a Democrat, but can a centrist unite the party? No. The former mayor is again considering a bid for the presidency and spending $80 million in midterm elections to flip the Republican-controlled House. In 2012 and 2016, Bloomberg considered running as an independent. Each time he concluded that he could not win and ran the risk of splitting the Democratic vote and helping the Republican candidate win office. But in 2020, sources close to the finance mogul have told The Guardian if the now 76-year-old candidate does eventually jump into the race, he plans to run as a Democrat. But after 2 and now 3 election cycles in which Bloomberg has teased his interest and pored over polling data, there are still questions about his ultimate commitment to a run. In previous flirtations, Bloomberg has explained that he dropped the effort to avoid splitting the Democratic vote and risking a Republican presidency. When he pulled out from formally entering the 2016 race, he wrote on his company's opinion pages that Trump has run the most divisive and demagogic, however you say it, presidential campaign I can remember, preying on people's prejudices and fears. Trump, he wrote, appeals to our worst impulses. Nor was he impressed by the other candidates whom he accused of doubling down on dysfunction. According to veteran Democratic campaign manager Hank Scheinkopf, Bloomberg's relevant rivals are not Democratic Party political picks. Likely among them, former Vice President Joe Biden, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, Senators Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, Bernie Sanders of Vermont, Cory Booker of New Jersey, Kamala Harris of California. But instead, Scheinkopf sees the main threat coming from other wealthy business people believed to be toying with presidential runs, like businessman Mark Cuban, former Starbucks chairman Howard Schultz, and investor billionaire liberal activist Tom Steyer. Okay, that part alone proves everything I've ever said about Democratic strategists 100% correct. Veteran Democratic campaign manager, so a top Democratic strategist, is telling Michael Bloomberg, hey, listen, dude, if you run, you don't have to worry about people like Bernie Sanders. The real people you have to worry about, Howard Schultz, Mark Cuban, Tom Steyer, you do not know what the fuck you are talking about. And what you're saying is counter to all of the current evidence. There's not a single poll where Tom Steyer or fucking Howard Schultz or Mark Cuban polls higher than Bernie Sanders, even polls higher than fucking even the worst of the worst corporate Democrat who's a politician. You know, Cory Booker polls way higher than fucking Tom Steyer. Even though I despise Cory Booker, it is objectively true to say he polls way higher than any of these fucking business people. Why? Because it's the Democratic Party. We're not the Republican Party. We would rather have at least somebody who speaks about politics, talks about the policies. Even if I think they're faking it, at least they're talking about policies. Guys like fucking Howard Schultz and Tom Steyer and fucking Mark Cuban, they're business people and self-aggrandizing fucking billionaire douchebags. Fuck are you talking about? There's no support for these people. The only press Howard Schultz got at all recently was when he was on CNBC saying, oh, Bernie Sanders goes too far left and I don't want Medicare for all. That's the person you think is the threat? They don't know anything, guys. If you want to get a job and you don't know anything, ever, about anything, go become a Democratic strategist and you'll immediately get a job and you'll immediately be hired everywhere all over Washington. Because all I have to do is just tell rich people what they want to hear. Oh, yes, Mr. Bloomberg, you will do very well in the race. And the other people who will do good are billionaire businessmen like you. Based on absolutely nothing, would be hired immediately. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So this is where we are now, man. They think they took the exact wrong lesson from Trump's victory. They thought the lesson was, oh, the American people actually love out-of-touch billionaires. No, it's that Donald Trump played the role of I'm for the common man, I'm anti-establishment, I'm populist. Now, his policies do not line up in that direction, and he is serving the establishment. I want to be clear about that. But the role he plays is always, hey, it's me versus the establishment. I'm on the side of the little guy. To this day, all of his shitting on the media, that's the narrative that serves. Look at all these out-of-touch Hollywood elites. Look at all these cultural leaders, the popular kids. The popular kids don't want me in their circle, so they came after me. So I'm just counterpunching and going after them. It is me the representative of the common man versus the establishment media. So that's what Trump is. Michael Bloomberg is a self-aggrandizing, narcissistic buffoon who is beloved by the establishment. You're telling me the guy who's most known for banning big gulps in New York City is going to be a viable contender? On that issue alone, a Republican would bury him. Oh, you hate freedom. Why'd you ban big gulps? Why do you hate freedom? You obviously hate freedom. You don't want... People could get 2 of the sodas that are the smaller size, which goes around your dumbass ban anyway. You didn't think of that? He vetoed an increase to the minimum wage. He vetoed an increase to the minimum wage in New York City. That's the guy that you think is going to win a Democratic primary? They don't know anything. And the thing that drives me most crazy is the media goes right along with it. So, listen, I'm 30, so I couldn't even run in 2020 if I wanted to. But for the next election that I can run, if I say to you guys, oh, I'm considering a run, that would be probably big among you guys, and then that would probably get big on Reddit and on the internet, and there would be genuine grassroots like, oh shit, like he's considering running. That would generate about 100 times more excitement than Michael Bloomberg running. But if I were to say that, would The Guardian and would like 14 mainstream media outlets run articles saying, oh, Kyle Kulinski is considering a run. Kyle Kulinski's considering a run. There would be a grand total of 0 articles. They would somehow find a way to make their negative articles. It'd be like -3 articles. Okay? With Michael Bloomberg, there is 0 grassroots enthusiasm. He, since he's so fucking rich, tells his peasants, his workers, go tell the media that I'm considering buying this country, please. And then they run along and they tell all the media, oh, Michael Bloomberg's considering buying this country. And they all run articles like, ooh, genuine enthusiasm for Michael Bloomberg. Ooh, Michael Bloomberg. Nobody likes Michael Bloomberg. Democrats don't like him. Like I said, he vetoed the minimum wage. He's against every single common sense reform that would make us a functioning social democracy. Democrats don't like him. Independents don't like him because he does dumb shit like banning big gulps and acting like he's some sort of fucking hero in the process. Does the right wing like him? No. Again, banning big gulps. They point at that and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Who's his support? He has no support. He has no support. Are you fucking kidding me? He has no support. None. Fuck out of here. At least with like Ross Perot when he was a billionaire who ran, at least his whole thing was like, hey, we shouldn't do NAFTA because that'll outsource a lot of jobs, which is why Ross Perot actually did pretty damn good in terms of an independent candidate. He got more independent votes than any independent candidate in U.S. history because he was running on an issue that's like, hey, I want to, protect your jobs. This douchebag is like, I'm going to take away your freedom to drink a soda and I want to ban minimum wage increases. And you think you're popular enough to win? And the media plays along with you. They have this complex of like, yes, I will be the savior from Donald Trump. Yes, I will save the country and go down a history. Yes, very good, yes. But you don't actually stand for anything. So what are you going to save us from? You don't stand for anything. His ideology is bad. I represent the fundamental opposite ideology. But you don't. You know who does? Bernie. He's the one who does. You don't. These guys are a joke, man. They're so disconnected. They're so out of touch. And they would look at my segment here and go, oh, how crass and rude and mean and wrong. And deep down on some level, they have to know, at the very least, I'm certainly not wrong.